yeah, I had no resources, or I didn't know, and there was nothing out there really then, and I kind of looked, but there were no kind of help groups or, you know, advice or anything. So it was flying blind a little bit.
Nobody connected us in the whole time. I was
No,
in
they didn't.
hospital for essentially 6 months, and nobody connected us with SIA
No.
or any other spinal charity.
I didn't know any spinal charity existed. I mean, it's one of those things where until it happens to you, I guess, you have to go and find it. You have to go and look for it. And if you like I say, if you're flying blind and you don't know how to do that, it can be quite difficult to know who to go out and who to trust and who to talk to. So, yeah, it was a little bit like, what do we do? You know, who do we speak? Is it going to be all right? Because also, you know, at the time, it all seemed quite like they were all quite not negative, but they were all like, well, this is terrible. You know, there was that surgeon who was going, this is you know, it's going to be bad. And I was like, well, all right, hang on a minute. It might not be bad. It might be amazing. And we just, you know, we'll overcome it. But there was a feeling of sort of doom and gloom from the very beginning. There wasn't much positivity that came out of it. You know, Jonathan was positive about everything. And, you know, his recovery was so swift and so quick. But there wasn't a particularly positive environment.
Yeah, I mean, and even now, you know, I broke my leg in February, and you know, I'm dealing with orthopedic doctors there in this country at our local hospital, and one of the things that I know that I need to do for my health and well-being is stand, and the orthopedic doctor, after I asked him, you know, when can I do that? He was like, well, you need to lower your expectations. That's not something that is going to happen. But then I immediately went to my, you know, spinal consultant, and he was like, yeah, it'll be fine. That's not a problem. And that disparity of knowledge, I think is a problem, and it's really pervasive, and that's something that I think we can really do something about. Yeah.
Well, if you start at the baseline of no, you can't. It's not. There's no.
You expect your doctor to just know the answer,
yeah,
and not tell you something that they're just guessing about. That's the thing.
Yeah. I mean, you do come up against it, like, you know, it's just like you said, it's just like departments don't talk to each other, so there's a breakdown of communication with a lot of areas within the National Health Service, and I know, you know, they're really stretched, and but I think if it's just a little bit about education, and it's just about, I don't know, just being aware that because I say to John, this could happen to anybody. You know, it's not just one of those things. Anybody could get a spinal injury at any time, and so it's, you know, we need as much information out there as possible so that we can move forward and it can become more of a thing that is in society. Do you know what I mean? It's like
that's the point. Is that when this happens to you, you know, life immediately becomes incredibly difficult, and what we hope is that we can make it as easy as it possibly can be, you know, to mitigate as much of the challenges that you face, because just the baseline is hard.
Yeah.
And so if you've got all of the support, you know, across the board, then you can make something that's incredibly difficult as easy as it can be. And I think that's really the challenge. And so you feel like a pioneer working these things out for yourself, and then to all of a sudden find SIA, and there's, you know, this lifeline, there's people.
When you've been low sometimes, and it's like, oh God, what, I don't know what to do now. And if you have like a support network out there that goes, you're not alone, it's fine, this happens, you just feel like you're not fighting it on your own.
And I think that one of the things that I want to bring to our role as ambassadors for SIA is to be able to talk about things that most people are not going to want to talk about.
Yeah.